Hello guys, Wahoo here, back in another video. This time around, as you can see from the title and maybe also from the thumbnail, I haven't made that one yet. We're doing the patch notes first. Yes, it's time to gear up date. Get it? Because it's gear up date. But if you put it like, hey, gear up date, then it becomes something else. But no, it's the gear update that we are getting. And it is bringing, as you can see right here, Crystal 5 gear. So we got the finally gonna get the Crystal 5 tier, and I'm very excited. I have read through all of this, and I'm pretty sure that this is definitely a W in here. So I'm very happy that we waited a month to get this update. Usually I made a video on Sunday where I was talking about this coming soon and stuff. We didn't know what it was. We just saw this NPC guy that's right here. We didn't really know what it was. We can also see in the picture right here the hub store that the NPC also is going to have. We'll see that on the PTS server gameplay video that I'll also be making, and that will of course have a card right up here, and you might also have already watched it. You know, I'm gonna link to both of them as well, and they're gonna come out at the same time as soon as I'm done with both of them. So yes, there will also be a gameplay on the PTS server because it is on the PTS server right now. So go test. But in this video, we're gonna go over everything there is in the patch notes, and then we're gonna do a PTS server because sometimes it just makes more sense to see it in live action, if you know what I mean, instead of just reading about it right here. It's like, oh, Crystal 5 gear, that sounds amazing. Like, what is it actually, you know? But we know what it is, but you know what I mean, right? It just makes more sense on the PTS server. There is also some PTS server exclusive, but they'll mark that with PTS server, and that's of course the test server of this one here. So my estimate is, depending on how the testing goes, we might have this about a month, and then we'll get this one out. But it is a big patch actually, so I'm again very happy that we waited a month for this one, because yeah, usually we get one in February, start of February. That's a PTS server. Now we got one in March. So yes, amazing that we're getting this kind of level of update. Definitely above and beyond on what you usually get for these updates. So shout out to the dev team. Thank you so much for listening to all of our feedback. We knew that this was coming at some point, like a new tier of gear, but we didn't know if it's going to be a completely new type of gear. You know, we have, you know, Stellar, we had Shadow gear, Radiant, and now we have Crystal, and we didn't really know if we were going to get 5, because yes, we got Shadow 1 from 5, but then they made Radiant, and then they made Stellar, and then they went back to doing 1, 2, 3, 4 in the Crystal gear, right? So we didn't really know if 5 was gonna come. We did do a little bit about the rings and stuff, but yeah, we might also get the Crystal 5 rings now, but we'll see what we get with that at the point. But that's in the future. But it's really nice that we're getting this one now, because somebody made a mention on my last video that we shouldn't get more gear. We shouldn't be gearing up more, because we already, like, U11 is already super easy. But I think that it is very important that we do gear up, because then they can release content that people can, of course, also do. But I'm not 100% sure that this update is directly into, oh, we're getting new content, like stronger content this summer maybe for a bigger update or whatnot. But I think it's also, as they say in this post right here up here, they say that they want to streamline more the way you are going to obtain gear. So instead of it's still going to be random drops, but you can actually also work towards it. So it's kind of like gems, where you can, you know, upgrade them more, and you can change them into, like, you know, Stellar gems into Crystal gear, Crystal gems, right? And now they kind of want to do all that again. So you can either just be lucky and have something drop, and then you can still get it, you know, just work towards it. And I think that's the best method, where it takes a very long time to get it, but you are working towards it, and you know you are going to get it. And then suddenly you were halfway through and you do get an item. It's like, wow, now I actually got it. But all that time you were still knowing you were going towards an item, right? So without more rambling, sorry, but it's just very important for me to say all these things. It's very passionate about all this still after all these years. But let's just dive into the patch notes. But we got Crystal 5 gear coming. Again, I should have said this in the beginning. Of course, these are always linked in the description. So if you just want to read this yourself, you can. If you don't want to have me bambling for 5 minutes before starting, you can just go ahead and click that one down there. This is a bunch of information down there. Always, everything is always, if it's not, make sure you, of course, let me know. If there's something I promised you guys in the description and I didn't go through, please let me know in the comments. I will always then go and grab it for you guys. So I will always promise, and then I will also deliver if I remember, right? But we are, you know, 2 ways, right? Okay, cool, great. Crystal 5 gear equipment is now available in Trove. Well, it's available on the PTS server, but it's going to be available on the live servers as well. And again, Crystal 5 gear can drop naturally in the same way the Crystal 4 gear equipment drops. That's in mostly into, I'm not sure it actually can drop in U10. I know it can drop in U11, so I'm just gonna assume that it's only going to be 11. But if somebody knows, if somebody has had some drops of Crystal 4 in, of course, in the U10, then of course let me know in the comments and so other people can see as well. But it does say in the same way, and it does say naturally. I don't know if the chest in the delves is unnatural. I don't know if those are unnatural and they're only thinking about U11, but there is a method where you can get Crystal 4 at above level 115. Or it's 117. I think it's 117. At least it has to say U10 when you hit the escape button, and you can see which it is when you get up the exit menu. You can see on the top what Uber it is, and it has to be say 10 before it can drop Crystal 4. And now I'm just blanking on 15 or 115 or 117, but it at least has to do that. I have made videos on it. I just kind of forgot about it because I haven't been hunting Crystal 4 gear. I don't know if that's the same way. You know, maybe somebody can clarify that, but I assume it's the same. I'm hoping it's the same, but it is, again, a much slower rate, and naturally dropping Crystal 4 gear in U11 is very rare. As I've seen a couple of items since they released U11. I think I see a couple of Crystal 4 gear, or maybe I haven't actually seen any. Maybe I'm just imagining all of it. But if it's even a slower rate than that, I don't think you are going to be, you know, bedazzled in Crystal 5 gear just doing a couple of hours of U11 due to topside, of course. Furthermore, the Crystal 5 gear can also be acquired through gear crafting, which is the one we are gonna get into right here, and Gear Crafter's Vault, and that's a place. Just making sure you guys know that, but that's kind of the headline here. And now we are going to continue into the gear crafting, which is a profession, which is right down here. Gear crafting is a profession allowing Trovians new methods to acquire gear for their many classes. We do have quite many classes. We could use a little bit, hint more. Okay, so Guliamor Gary. Gary, that's what they called him, so I'm gonna call him Gary. Somebody can perhaps pronounce that. I am not smart enough to do this or so, but it's gonna be Gary. Can now be found in HUD and looking for giant gear in Character Corner. So we are pretty tight in that hub right now. I am looking forward to see how that looks into the PTS server, because people are on the streets, on the path, and everywhere. You know, people are basically everywhere. So I don't know where he's gonna go, but we'll see what happens. Maybe because it does look like he has his own little hut here. So we'll see. I think that's besides the. I think we got the golden statue right here, and then we got corner. So it's still gonna be pretty tight. It's still gonna be pretty tight. But of course, I'm pretty sure you can get the benches in your Club World or in your Cornerstone as we are used to. And it says here in the PTS server that in the coming days, there's gonna be an expertise thread added, and that's basically a quest where it's gonna take you through every single part of it. So it's kind of like a tutorial. So that is going to, and it also usually rewards you with some pretty nice stuff. It's always good to do those quests. So if you do open your I tab, that is gonna be a venture tab, and you can also find it in the hub. You can find that one, and there is gonna be some quests, and that's gonna be to everything there is in Trove, to the geode, you know, caves, to geode topside, gems, everything. And so basically, when you go through the tutorial, there's gonna be these ones, and they're gonna pop up as you basically go through the game. And now there's also gonna be one for gear crafting. It's a really nice way to, you know, have people aware of this besides, you know, my videos and such. to have people watch or get a whiff of gear crafting. So it's going to, as I said, specific guiding steps through gear crafting. So it's going to take you through all of it, and we are going to do it as we've done all of it. So the gear crafting forge is contained of 6 tiers of recipes. So 6 tiers, that is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30? Do we have 300 levels? I hope so. I hope we get 300 levels. We didn't get 300 levels. It's just because all the other professions are 300. I wish that they would all be 300 except for room crafting. Room crafting is a little bit behind. I wish that it would also be 300. So all professions just be 300. Just makes a lot more sense that some are 250 and some is 300. I don't know. It's just my brain just equal. I don't know. Anyways, this says here with the I can't say that. With the exception of the final tier, that's tier Crystal 5, each 50 points is gonna basically have you. It's gonna be a progression where it says, I think there's an example. Yeah, the example right here. The first tier will, depending on your power rank, will give you uncommon gear, rare gear, epic. So basically that would be the first tier. That'd be 1 to 50. Or is it 2 to 50? I can't remember. But it's gonna be the first 50 levels is gonna be you crafting gear that is gonna be uncommon, rare. So that's gonna be pretty easy to go through for new people. But for people that are just starting, this is gonna be amazing because you're just gonna be there. It's gonna tie into your atlas. So you basically, you can get this gear from the atlas. You can also craft it if you need to. So I'm pretty sure the first tiers is not going to be something where it is have the biggest of impact on the game, because these are uncommon. It's pretty uncommon, and the common gear is pretty common, and rare and blue and such is basically is normally very easy to get, and you're gonna fly past it. It's gonna be the higher tiers that is gonna be the more of the issue, right? Especially Crystal 5, that is gonna be pretty crazy, I think. I have read some of it here. I'm not completely understanding it. I think it makes more sense when we get into the PTS server, but we'll take it when we get there. And it just says here, next tier is gonna be Legendary, third tier is gonna be Shadow, then Crystal tier contain Crystal up to Crystal 4, which rarely can give players Crystal 5 equipment. So I'm not really sure how that's gonna work. I think it works a little bit similar to rings and such, where you sometimes you can craft the highest box, which is Crystal 3, I think, and then there's a chance you can get a Crystal 4. So that's going to guarantee you a Crystal 4 ring, which is really rare. So you have to craft a bunch of you can be lucky. It's a lucky craft, right? So you can get it on the first one. Actually, when I did the PTS server for the rings, I actually got a Crystal 4 ring on the first few craft I could do. I don't have much on the PTS server, but I was lucky enough, and I was like, that's not hard. And then I tried it on the live server, and they might have also changed the rates. It also be something, for testing and PTS server and stuff like that. I didn't get it at once. Just let's say it like that. I do have a Crystal 4 ring now, but yeah, it took a while to get that. But that's just how it goes. And now they also says access for access crystal equipment higher than Crystal 1, Trovians must use the Gem Crafter's Terminus? Yeah, wow, I think I said that right. And see the Terminus crafting section for more details. So there's a Terminus down here, which we also going to go through. But then there's also here crafting equipment takes many old materials. So we're still gonna use the old materials, but they are introducing, and that's what they always do. I also said that I think I said that in Sunday's video, where I said it's also gonna bring some new materials, because all these old materials, people have millions or billions and stuff I don't know, maybe people have trillions of it. I'm just guessing, or people are at least going to require it now, and then over the next month, when this is going to be everything is going to skyrocket in price. They're not going to do that right now, because yes, people have a lot of this, but what people are really looking for is the molds and the block elements, which is going to be new, and it's going to be when the update comes out. So you have no way to craft it or get it right now. It's because people shouldn't be prepared, and then the first day they're done with it. Some people might already do that because people are crazy, but it's definitely not for the casual players. Not going to be done like the first couple of hours at least with like we have with our events. So how are you going to obtain all of these? Well, I'm not gonna do that on the PTS server, how I'm gonna obtain those. I'll of course make videos when they actually hit live. I'll tell you guys how you are going to get these, of course, in the first couple of days where you are gonna get it, but we are gonna talk about it right here, right now, as we can see. But it's not the same as see it in game as it's seeing it on a screen like this, right? That's just a bunch of wall of text, right? But the block elements can obtain from loot collecting equipment out of event. So just what you usually do. So when the update hits, your gear is going to just be able to be loot collected from this. So I have no idea if block elements, you get different ones, but I wouldn't stock up on gear per se, but I think that if you have something available where you can kind of put some different gear in there just to have them lying around. For example, I know Stellars is not that hard to come by, but maybe if you can get some Crystal 4, whatever, Crystal 3 or something like that to have some of those. It doesn't say that you have to need them from specific things, but I would just, if you have the space, I would definitely have some items lying around because they are going to be able to drop these block elements when it do a drop. Multi-specific, they are specific each type. So hats, face, and each weapon individual mold. So these are going to be hats. So again, the molds are going to be out of, let's say, a loot collecting 3-star or higher equipment. So, or can be purchased from. Okay, so there's gonna probably be a, like it says purchase from Gary, but I'm pretty sure it's just gonna be a weekly one or something like that where you can purchase a couple of them like you can do with, you know, rings. Again, I'm just gonna take inspiration from rings where you can craft like a big, there's many of these. There's just rings, you know, that crafts a little bit there. So, and then there's Pure Forge molds. So again, have a different array of items lying around, like some hats, faces, each type of weapon, maybe like Stellars or something like that. That is 3 stars or higher, because it comes out of these ones as well. So it's going to be a bunch of stuff that comes out of it. Then there's Pure Forge molds used to crystal crafting, available limited. So again, this is available on the PTS server, or can be, so it's not going to be he's not going to sell it. These crystal things, they're not going to sell it on the live servers. It's only going to be for testing. And then also rarely can be found from the Gear Crafter's Vault, which we are going to talk about also later down there. Then there's tempered block elements required to crafting Crystal 4 equipment or upgrading. So there is an able to upgrade, and that's really nice. So all your gear you put so much effort into is just going to be upgraded, or can be upgraded at least. You can also, you know, just get a Crystal 5 and then work on that one. These can be obtained from, from the Gears Crafter Vault, or when crafting any recipe on the Gear Crafting Forge. So sometimes it's going to be a drop as well. And then there is, when players can craft equipment from the gear, it starts appropriate current class. So, okay, yes, okay, so that's cool. Okay, so when you actually get an item, that's really nice. When you do get an item, which is going to be Crystal 5, it actually is going to, so that's actually really huge. It's not gonna drop. You can probably roll energy regen on some gear. You can probably, I don't think it mind that that's not fixed, but maybe they fixed that, where like items can roll energy regen on items, but the class do not use energy, or like the pirate captain. Please remember more classes, but no. So maybe they fix that. That'd be super awesome. So it actually rolls over those, and then you don't use rolls. For me personally, because I do have a bunch of materials, it doesn't really matter to me. I don't roll my gear that much, so it wouldn't really matter too much to me. But it would matter a lot for a new player. Those rolls are like really, really, really like essential and really, really costly at that point. So it would be really nice if they didn't do that. So we'll see what that happens. But again, when unlocked, the Crystal 4 gear crafting recipe can rarely award, again, when it's crafted. That's what we talked about. Crafted equipment is always 1 star. Okay, so it's always with no applied pearl, so no, with stat appropriate to current class. Okay, so it does say when you craft it, it is going to be that. So maybe it's gonna, you can't roll that on gear either, but we'll have to see if that, I wish it wouldn't. And then the last thing in this one is, if consumed before crafting, forge enhancer, I think that's answer, potions found in the more tab in the store will increase the power equipment crafted during its duration, causing it to be created with 2 stars instead of 1, with upgraded pearls. So pearls, no. I think this is cool a little bit if you are lucky to get a crystal 5 and you have the potion running, then alright. But I think it's great that they're finding ways to make it a little, but I don't really not sure this is super duper important or whatever you call it. Like I think this is mediocre. Again, it's real money, it's your money, use it as you please. But then we got the Gears Crafter Terminus. Once saving 250 on the gear crafting on this one here. Skill has been acquired. Trove can make up use of the Gear Crafter Terminus to unlock Crystal 2, 3, and 4 equipment recipes. So you need a Terminus when you hit this one to unlock these recipes. And then when you do recipes, this is where you have to craft those Crystal 4 gear, which has a chance of getting Crystal 5 gear. So we're gonna craft a bunch of Crystal 4 gear. All your classes is now gonna have Crystal 4 gear, probably through before you get Crystal 5. So that's really awesome. I'm gonna craft a bunch of 4s for sure. Like most of my classes has just regular Crystal 3 because I don't want to go Crystal 4. If I do get an item, I replace it, but I'm not like hunting it. And then, hey, you are lucky, little, there you're gonna get an item, right? But now I'm pretty sure, without 100% knowing, all my gear is gonna be Crystal 4 on my, and hopefully my Draco is gonna have the 5. But we'll have to see when that comes out. Additional upgrades can be purchased, allowing players to increase their ability to acquire in the Gear Crafter's Vault. Gary's Vault? Okay. Anyways, in various ways. So the Vault is basically a place that we'll talk about. All right, I have to pause Editor Wahoo right here because I actually say that the vaults are a place you can go, which it is not. It's not a place you can go. I'm going to use this intro on both of them, but I'm also probably going to say the same thing on the PTS server gameplay video. But the point is that the vaults are not a place. It's just an item or a box that drops that you didn't have to open. It's not something you have to go anywhere. It's just a box that drops from regular dungeons. When you're out doing regular dungeons, they'll drop randomly and you open them, and then the keys, you can see here, there's some of them right here. That's why I'm right here. There's not really, I don't have any footage of what they look like, but it's right here as you can see. You also get it from doing all this. I'll explain that in the gameplay video, but the point is, this is what they look like, and the keys is basically just so you are guaranteed to get a rare drop, but you can get it from here. So the crafters Gear Crafter's Vault is not a place. It's not a place. It's just boxes that drop from dungeons. I'm very sorry about that. I just realized that under the PTS gameplay. I'll talk about it in that one as well. But I just paused the video here and also pause the other video so you guys know that I'm totally wrong about that. Don't worry about it. I realize it later on, not in this video, but on the PTS server. So make sure you guys, of course, check all of it out. But I just wanted to mention it right here. It's not a place. It's just boxes you open and then you get the stuff. And there's a chance of everything and so on, so on. So just keep that in mind when I say it's a place you have to go and I talk about Delve and stuff like that. It's just a box. It's just a box. It's just a box. What's in the box? Crafter's gear. Anyways, back to past Wahoo, and this was Editor Wahoo. First time the major node is unlocked. So I'm pretty sure that this terminus is like a, without knowing it, but it seems to me when it says major nodes and minor nodes, I'm thinking this is a gear crafting tree. So when I mean crafting tree, I mean it's not like a talent tree, but it's a talent tree where you have to go through it, just kind of like your fishing tree and your star chart tree. I don't think it's going to be as huge. I think it's just going to be like a teeny tiny bit. We'll see what we get in game, but I'm really excited for having a crafting tree where it's just like, oh, I can work towards this one, and now I'm going to have a bigger chance of maybe getting more of this. I'm just assuming. I'm just thinking here, but we'll see. We'll go through it. This is already a crazy long video, but we'll see what happens. We still got some stuff to get through. We have to get through the Gear Crafter's Vault, and the Gear Crafter's Vault basically is a vault, which is basically a gateway. You put that down like you have your delves and stuff like that, and then you can go inside of it, and it does drop materials for the gear crafting. So those ones we were talking about up here. That's at least what I gathered from this one right here. And it seems like you can, these drop just from doing dungeons. So I'm not sure they're tradable. I think there is. It says here right here that there is a very rarely tradable unlocker for new gear crafting themed collection. So I think this is tradable, but I'm not sure if the other ones are tradable. We'll see what happens. I hope it is, but we'll see what when we get to that. I think it's kind of. I'm not sure what they look like. I'm assuming they kind of maybe look like delves or something like that. It's kind of like the dungeons that drop in the Dragonfire Peaks. There's some special ones. I can't remember the name of them off the top of my head, but they drop from dungeons when you just do random. Then suddenly you have these and you loot collect them into blank scrolls, and they're not really super useful. Like there is some stuff like in there, but it's more cosmetics and stuff like that in that one. But this one is gonna have this one, so you are able to get all these items, I'm pretty sure, without going into it. So I don't think you are absolutely necessary to go there, but I think this is made to have extra content, to make some content around that, and I think they just copy it like delve. We'll see. We'll try to get into one. Again, it's a random drop, so it's not something guaranteed. I'm not gonna play 100 hours on the PTS server just to get this one. I do need to get these videos to you guys. Maybe if I play it, then we can see what it is. But you can't just go in here like your lowest friend like had no like gear or whatever, because Crystal 5 gear drop awardly like rarely drops. Like it can drop from the end game when you're done with the whatever it is. But you have to be power rank of 45,000. You have to go in there. So it is obtainable, but you do have to have a certain amount of power rank. I love that they're saying that, so we don't like theory craft it, hey, and tell new players to just get a bunch of these and just run them forever, right? And then like, I've run them for 200 years and they're never getting them, right? So this is just a place where also equipment also, so it's also always, that was hard to say, 2 stars. So in my eyes, this is not a mandatory thing. This is an extra thing where if you want to go like hard, like if you want to specifically farm for Crystal 5. So this is like for the in-game players. This is for somebody that wants to go fast and want to go quick and just get it over with as soon as possible, in my opinion. So you can kind of skip the whole, well, they're not going to skip the crafting process. They are going to get, profession to the max, right? But they are going to get this, of course, done as quick as possible as they want to stay on the top, right? So yeah, I think this is great. I think this is a specific place. That's also why it's not a bunch of text. We'll see what happens with it. I'm not 100% sure. I'm just theory crafting right here. I'm sorry I'm blabbering a lot because I'm not sure what this is, and I don't want to have anybody feel like it's a new delve or something mandatory that you have to do. I think this is just like a side quest, if you can say it like that. I feel like it's a side quest before that. Then we have a bunch of new styles here. It looked bigger on the phone when I was reading it, but there's a bunch of styles, so that's gonna be nice. It's actually costumes that are added. Okay, so we're getting new costumes that's all been added to it. So there's a bunch of awesome costumes that we are going to have to unlock through the Chaos Combinator. So that's a lot of mastery, so save up on those things as well. So and of course I mean the Chaos Course. Of course there's the additional updates, which is kind of important because right now crystal weapons are no longer crafted at the Sunseeker Crystal Forge. That is a big thing as well, because when you hit 5,000 power rank and you hit level 20, you ran to here as fast as you could, you ate to your top side and you made yourself that weapon, and it was just a crazy power boost right there on your items, and you could have like the crappiest crappy gear. As long as you hit 5,000 power rank and level 20, you got like a godly weapon. And you're still gonna get that. You're still gonna get a godly weapon. I'm pretty sure we'll see what that happens through this, but I'm pretty sure that it is going to be so. But it was sort of a little bit like a cheating thing. It was kind of like a little bit of cheating thing, because like it took you like 2 freaking seconds to get this one, and then you basically had a godly weapon and you can just boost, which is also amazing. I don't condemn that, but I feel like this is more streamlined, and it didn't make a lot of sense that you could only craft the weapon. What about the helmet and the the hat, which would be amazing? You had to run around and get that. You had to like follow some people. With this system, you actually don't have to be following any people around anymore. You don't have to be leeching of anybody. You don't have to just keep running with anybody, because you can just go ahead and craft your gear. Like if you don't get your item, you just craft them. when of course you get the items and what it's going to cost and if you have them and such. But yeah, so really amazing. Then of course lower tier equipment also look a little bit more flux, which is amazing. The forge, rest in peace forge. We like in the eyes because it's no longer be able to upgrade. It's gone. It's still gonna be, so keep it in your if you don't have made it yet, make sure you put it down, because it might not be able to be crafted anymore, because they might take it out and replace it with, of course, this one, so people don't get confused about the forge. But then you have a like sort of a history thing that is in the forge as right here. Then also another thing is that Viridium and Nitro, the Irondium ore and also the Ember Slag ore, these are the newest ores we got, is now going, this says can bow. I mean, I think they're gonna say, instead of say bow, I think they're gonna say now can sometimes be found inside Miner's Trove. And Miner's Trove, if you don't know what Miner's Trove is, that is when you go around mining ore, any ore, there's a chance of getting a little box that also contains some ore. So it's just kind of like an extra thing. And you might have been having a lot of these lying around. I personally have a lot of them lying around because way back, they also did this thing. So I've just been keeping them. And since I didn't need any more ore, then I didn't open them. But now I'm going to open them because it's going to be filled with these things. So now there's going to be a chance of these. So now I'm just going to unlock all of them. And of course, on the update, when the update hits, of course, then I'm going to get all of this as well. Then it says faces, hats, and weapons can now be found in Radiant 2 Plus and Stellar 2 Plus tiers. Not really sure what that means. People that are much smarter than me could comment down below. I have no idea what like Radiant 2 Plus means and Stellar 2 Plus. That's, yeah, doesn't matter. I don't think it. I think I don't think it's that important. Maybe it is, and I'll correct myself at some point. They added a flash seller to the hub, so it is easier to find a flask seller, which is also in. So basically, they're taking and making an NPC that does the same as in the more tab, which in the store. So you can see a guy instead of going to the store, and you can actually go to a guy and say, oh, you can now see it. So, or you can just tap N and you see the store and you can do the same thing. But they are introducing some new NPCs to the club. So maybe, club update, perhaps crazy. I don't know. No, but they're adding these different NPCs to the Market Floor Flux level 1. And also 2 and 3, and then you can actually have these in the can be found in the way to the market fixture in the clubs, so you can find it as well. But there's not really a big deal, but yeah. Anyways, and then there's some titles tracking, and there's also a Leguani enemies is freezing during their idly information, so they're standing still, and now that's fixed as well. But yeah, that was the whole gear update. Gear update. That we are getting. So I'm very excited and a lot of stuff to cover, a lot of things to mention, but I'm very appreciate that you made it this far in the video. I'm not going to drag this out anymore. It is linked in the description. You also saw the card for the PTS server, so it makes it a lot more easier for you to digest. At least it does that for me, and we'll go check everything out on the PTS server right now, and we'll make a video and show you guys it live on the PTS server. Anyways, of course, also Discord. I post all the updates. I don't make videos on the small updates. I make additions sometimes where it's like, hey, we added a little bit more. Unless it's very significant, then I'll make a small video on it. But I usually just post like the small updates they do through the PTS server cycle. Because usually it's not something super big. It's just like small tweaks here and there and on feedback, whatever. And make sure you go to my Discord. That's linked in the description. Also, the Trove Discord is linked through my Discord. So you can just go in that one, if you don't not already, and give your feedback on the PTS server if you do have so. It's very much appreciated. It helps everybody out. So thank you so much for watching this video. Maybe I'll see you guys in the gameplay one if you're not already watched it. If not, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!